and that's where the things where the DevOps came into the picture, and where like a huge demand of DevOps engineer came into the picture. So with DevOps engineer, I'm referring to the guys which were the common who knows development as well as operations. And with the time, as the time passed, now DevOps turned into cloud ops. And what was the main difference between cloud ops and DevOps? As you can see with this representation, cloud ops is also similar. Like for development, instead of development, it is cloud. And all of you have heard about cloud computing and things related to cloud computing. I'm sure that you also have a subject on that. So cloud ops means all the practices that were followed by the DevOps engineer that they have to apply using the cloud architecture, which is all the features for deployment, for development, for making infrastructure, for for small various processes which was there for making website live. Now it's all in cloud, and as the era says, it's a cloud era now. So cloud ops, and that's what makes the cloud people so demanding in the industries right now. Here are some of the logos which I have just googled it, pasted in the slides. I am sure some of logos you will be aware of, and some of them you might be seeing very first time. But if you'll see, most of them are like through because of AWS, because of Google, and Azure. These are the major three cloud providers, as you all know. And with these, they also provides their way of deploying and using DevOps tools. So pardon me, Vijay, can you go back to the previous slide? So some of the DevOps tools are here. Most of them, you might have heard about Git in your minor projects, or in your major projects, you must have used that. Or you have, if not, then it is a very good tool for your versioning and storing your source code. Next big logo you see is Jenkins. Jenkins is nothing but a very important tools nowadays to deploy automation jobs, which on the trigger gives performs whatever action you define. So from deploying a website to cloning a code and everything a Jenkins job can do. So there are various different DevOps tools which were initially present in the market, but the things were it was all developed and deployed. These all tools needs also to be deployed. So these all were deployed over cloud, over on-prem servers like the physical machines, or the servers which are there on the data centers and company offices, and then people can use them. So DevOps were like they use the servers which were on the office, and maybe physical servers and all. And later on, when the cloud providers, like the cloud technologies was emerging, the VM concepts or virtual machine concepts were there. Few of the tools got migrated to clouds, but still it was not the cloud ops. It was still called DevOps, because it was just a machine there, no other services. Now, what cloud ops use is something very different. So, Vijay, next slide, please. Third one.
One more next.
So, yep, this one. So if you'll see, these are the various services. The logos basically are, it's a self-explanatory name of the service. These are the services which cloud provider developed on their own, so that user doesn't have to deal with such previous tools which was there in the previous slides. So say for example, Azure DevOps, it's a simple tool which Azure has developed, so that you can store your code, you can deploy your code, and you can do everything using cloud only. No need of external tools, no need of external hardwares, no need of creating different VMs, nothing. Just write one YAML file and it will all deploy your code, and it will do whatever thing you want it to do. Same thing with AWS pipeline. The logo at the extreme left of the slide, it's AWS pipeline. This also does the same thing. In general, these are called pipelines because it gets defined what all things you need to do, like a water flow pipeline. So you finalize that, okay, I want my water to come on this route, so I'll just put the pipeline there. Same thing, I want my code to get processed in this manner, so I'll do a code pipeline. So AWS pipeline is another example of the CloudOps tools. And nowadays, there are various source control services which are also there. I am sure that you have heard about GitHub. Anybody who don't know about GitHub, or like someone who knows about GitHub? So GitHub is just a source control cloud service which basically stores your code, and similar to GitHub. And there were many different cloud providers which have implemented the same concept of Git. So GitLab, the center logo is one of that, which also provides a similar way. Not if you just wanted to have your pipeline and you don't want to jump into your cloud infrastructure that you don't want to manage, you can just use a simple cloud GitLab pipelines, Bitbucket pipelines. These are all similar to GitHub, which also includes the feature of deployment and building the pipelines. So one thing on that. Second thing, so it's not just limited to this. There are various other tools which CloudOps use, something like Docker, Kubernetes. I know Docker and Kubernetes would be a bit advanced to you all, but it's a booming technology which has been in a huge demand right now in all over the world. So containerization is the new process of deploying stuff and application. If you get time, do try working on containers and virtualizations, which is the new era of the IT infrastructure. And so DevOps or CloudOps people also use these concepts so that they can have the deployment faster and easier. And mostly it's all because use of cloud related services and architecture. Vijay,
Sir,
next
what
slide,
is
please.
Kubernetes?
Kubernetes is a tool which is used for orchestration of containers. With that, what I mean is you have to. So containers are small portion similar to a VM, but it stores your which gets run on the physical hardware, but in a very isolated manner. So with that, you can run multiple containers, but for that you need to run multiple processes. And what Kubernetes does, it's like it manages, it recreates, it's create containers with a single YAML file, so that you don't have to worry about what happens if the container dies, what happens if the container restarts. It all manages everything. So in short, if I'll say Kubernetes is a cloud for containers. So you just define everything in a Kubernetes application, and it will be all the containers will be managed through that. Similarly, in your as you can relate it with this. So in your AWS, in your Azure, in your Google, you define your VMs, you create your VMs, and they are all available. So for containers, you can define it, you can create it using Kubernetes. It's an orchestration tool for container.
Sir, how we can see this in real world? Like, I'm not able to understand what is a container. Like in a website where Kubernetes and other these services are used.
So Kubernetes and containers are mostly infrastructure level. So your application, so it's a small unit of your server. So there are small servers which runs your application. So nowadays, if you have are in touch with the latest stuff in the technologies, you might have known there are microprocessors, services, microservices architecture being followed. And what these microservices architecture means, like each of your service is defined and is created separately regardless of the whole package of your code. So similarly, your microservice, which runs these particular microservices individually and collaboratively, you can get a big, huge product with very low resource uses and very, very, very fast response.